Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark, the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1926 action comedy, The General. Hey, well, there's no reason to get violent. I think this is going to be a pretty good review. If this is your first time joining me, I am reviewing all the movies on the 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die list. The General stars Buster Keaton as Johnny Gray. He also co-directed it and wrote the screenplay. And the female lead is Marion Mack, who plays Annabelle Lee. Now, this movie was considered a box office failure, and because of that, Buster Keaton lost a lot of his creativity that he was able to bring to movies, which I think is incredibly sad because this movie is hilarious, it is action-packed, it constantly comes at you, it packs no punches. I feel, or it holds back no punches. I don't remember how that saying goes, but it's a lot like The Cameraman, in which it wastes no time. It's very well paced. I thought it was incredibly funny. It's inspired by the great locomotive chase that took place during the American Civil War. In this movie, Johnny does fight for, or not really fight for, but he does help the Confederate side. So it's probably the first movie I've ever seen that asks me to root for the Confederate team. But you don't ever really feel like you're rooting for them, I guess, because you're just kind of wanting Johnny to succeed. Regardless of which side he's on, you want him to get his locomotive back, and you want him to save the woman. And they don't really make the Confederacy part very heavy-handed, which I enjoyed. When this movie opens up, Johnny's only two loves in life are his locomotive, the General, and his girl, Annabelle Lee. Now, Annabelle's father and brother have decided to join the war effort because the Civil War has just broken out, and they're going to join the side of the Confederacy, and Annabelle Lee very much wants Johnny to join the Confederacy as well. In fact, she insists upon it. So he goes down to the office to enlist, and when he gets there, they tell him that they don't tell him much of anything. They just tell him that he cannot join the army, but behind the scenes, we learn it's because he is more valuable to them as an engineer. Now, because he wasn't given this information, he's kind of looking at the people around him in a very funny scene. There's a lot of much taller, much broader shoulder, much stronger men. So because he figures, okay, I'm just not the type of build that they want. But then they also show a guy who's his exact same build who was approved, and he's like, hey, what gives here? So he tries everything he can to try to outsmart the situation and get himself into the army, but none of it works. So he's eventually rejected, and his girl Annabelle Lee hears that he chickened out and didn't actually try to join. So she gets very upset at him and says that she wants nothing to do with him until he joins the war effort. So we fast forward a little bit, and Annabelle has learned that her father has been injured in the war, so she is going to see them, and she is going to take the General to do it. So while Johnny is away, the Union soldiers, their Union spies, board the General while she's on it, and they steal it, and their aim is to take the General and to burn a bunch of rail bridges along their way to kind of stop the Confederacy from being able to reach any important places that they need to reach. Now, at first Johnny doesn't know this. He just sees that his beloved General has been stolen from him, so he eventually commandeers a train and chases them down. Now, there's a scene in this movie where he tries to get some Confederacy soldiers to help him, but the train that he's on, the front of the train doesn't seem to be connected to the rest of the train, so he detaches and he goes off on his own. But I swear there was a scene in this part of the movie where I see him actually pull the pin out so that the train detaches. Maybe that was a mistake, I don't know. But he ends up going off on his own trying to catch these guys and to save his woman. There's a lot of funny scenes. I mean, the whole movie is basically the chase. First, him chasing these people, and later on, them chasing him. And there's a lot of funny scenes. Probably a couple of my funniest scenes, for me, the funniest scenes are one which involves a cannon. So he has a cannon on the back of his train that he's on, and he's trying to fire it over his locomotive to the other locomotives in front of him. And he does this, and it falls short, and it ends up on him instead of it's just the angle. It seems like the angle is not there, the angle of the cannon. So instead of re-angling it because it doesn't seem to be right, he just puts a bunch more powder in it. I'm thinking to myself, it's not going to work because it's angled wrong. It was hilarious to me. It ends up working out sort of for him, but I thought it was absolutely hilarious. There's also another scene later, which is a famous scene where he's trying to like remove this log from the tracks, but he has to ride on the front of the train in order to do it. And then as he's riding past, he like takes the log out. Very famous scene. I'll put a screen of it here. So eventually he gets to this like cabin area where the Union soldiers are rested up, and he sneaks in and he's able to save Annabelle, and he gets Annabelle on the train, and they start going, and he decides he's going to he hears of the plan while he's in this cabin because they're talking about what they want to do. So he's going to let the Confederate soldiers know what's going on, warn them ahead of time so that they can plan ahead and be able to do what they have to do. There's a scene later in the movie where he's like going along the tracks and there's Union soldiers behind him. It's like a bunch of horses. It's a fantastic scene. The scenes on this train are absolutely phenomenal. Everything he does on the train is crazy. So the Union soldiers end up chasing him at this point of the movie, and they think that there's like a lot of people on this train that they're chasing, like they're going to be outnumbered, but eventually they realize that he is by himself, so they start chasing him and trying to catch him. Of course, there's like hijinks that ensue where Johnny's doing things to make it so that they can't catch up to him. One really weird part of this movie where I didn't know, I don't know if this actually happened in real life or if they just did it for the movie, is that whenever they need like extra wood for the furnaces, or whenever they need to like shoot the cannon or shoot guns or something outside of the train, they like take an axe and they just start like hacking the train to get wood for the furnace, or to like make a window in the train to like shoot something out of it. And like the whole movie they're like just hacking up this train, like the wood in this train, like all the box cars and stuff, trying to get wood and make holes and stuff. And it's actually pretty phenomenal to watch. There's tons of scenes in this movie where they're standing up in the train, hacking it with axes. Absolutely incredible and hilarious. So when we get towards the end of the movie, there is a scene where the Union soldiers are trying to cross this bridge, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do it, but one of the Union soldier leaders is like, you can make it past that bridge. There's no reason why you can't. It's damaged because I believe it caught on fire. Johnny caught the bridge on fire, but he says you can still make it, and then they try to cross it and the bridge like absolutely collapses, which I thought was both mesmerizing, harrowing, and absolutely funny, because the Union general just looks up like, oh, okay, sure, guess they can't do it, and he like marches forward anyway. But at the end of the movie, Johnny's able to tell the Confederacy what's going on, and they're able to meet the Union soldiers and defeat them because they were not surprised that Union soldiers were trying to take them by surprise, and it ruined the surprise entirely. And at the end of the movie, Johnny, who was not actually in the army but was helping them with his train, just by chance, ends up becoming a lieutenant. They make him like a lieutenant in the army, and they allow him to join, even though, I guess because maybe he can be an engineer on a train and in the army, maybe that's why he proved that he could do both. I don't know, but apparently they no longer think that him being an engineer is as important, and they want to reward him at the end for a job well done. And of course, Annabelle wants to be with him at the end because he not only was in like now he's in the army, but he also is considered like a hero, and she's very much like what have you done for me lately type of thing. If you're not exactly what I want you to be, the person I want you to be, and what I want you to do, then I'm not going to be with you. And he is all too quick to try to do exactly what she wants and be the person that she wants. Like I said, this movie's filled with action. I think it's whenever it seems like Buster Keaton does a lot of things with trains, and he's just really good at it. He's really good at this physical comedy, and this movie was basically all physical comedy from him, and all like stunts, and just him being out in the open and being able to do crazy things on a train. And he's just so physical. His comedy is so physical. He's just so good at these stunts and doing these type of crazy hijinks and everything. It's like they just gave him a chance to like just go do what you want to do. Here's a free reign to just be crazy on this train, and they gave it to him, and he did an absolutely exceptional job. I first saw this movie with a few friends of mine at their house on like a big screen TV, and I remember I was absolutely mesmerized by it. Me and one of my friends, we really enjoy older movies, like black and white movies, and he asked me if I'd ever seen The General, and I told him no, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it. Both of our wives said they enjoyed it too. We saw it with our wives also. But I think this is the kind of movie that even if you don't like silent films, or you don't think you like silent films, this is something that you can watch and is very accessible and is very easy because of how action-packed it is. It's not that long of a movie. There's no parts that drag. It is the quality of the film is very good. This is just a very easy movie for you to watch if you normally don't like silent films, because I've seen a lot of silent films now, and I'll tell you, some of them are absolutely atrocious, and some of them are just really hard to get through, and the average person would not be able to get through something like Dr. Maboose or something like that that's 4 hours long. But this one is something that I think anyone could get through just because of how fun it is, and I absolutely enjoyed it. It's a 10 out of 10. I hope you join me next time when I review a movie called The Unknown, a Lon Chaney movie. I think his name is Lon Chaney. He was just in The Phantom of the Opera that I reviewed, and I gave that a 10 out of 10. So I hope you join me next time when I review The Unknown. Thank you. Have a great day.